Hi, my name is Joseph Parker, WBO champion of the world, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
So Eddie Hearn has said that he expects and wants David Higgins and Joseph Parker to deliver some smack talk in front of Anthony Joshua when they meet at their next press conference on Tuesday. And Eddie Hearn, he seems kind of like adamant that, you know, you can't be saying these things before a fight is signed, and when fight is signed, go all quiet. Now, we're going to get into some of it in a bit, but I want to read out Eddie Hearn's statement about why he wants it and all this kind of thing. So anyway, Eddie Hearn's statement. I like David Higgins and I want him to speak up. I want him to look Anthony Joshua in the eye and tell him the banterish stuff he says to me. I just told Anthony that he basically said, you're going to get sparked out. And Joshua said, okay, let's hear it. Next Tuesday at the press conference then. I'm giving him notice and I'm saying, next Tuesday, we want to hear it from you and Joseph Parker. You cannot say all this stuff in the build-up to get the fight, and then when the deal is done, go quiet. Parker and his team believe 100% they're going to knock Anthony Joshua out, and he's been exactly the same. There is a nice little mix there between him and me, and what I did was filled Anthony Joshua in on something that Mr. Higgins said, and I think it's added a little bit of spice. They are on notice. I want you to look in the eyes of Anthony Joshua and tell him what you truly believe will happen in this fight. David Higgins has said this. Eddie and I have a funny relationship. We get on good and there's banter. Maybe he's trying to wind AJ up. I don't know. I can't answer. Do I backstab Joshua? No. I don't say anything that I don't think is factual. It's hard to wind AJ up. Maybe Eddie showed him the message to fire him up a bit. There's no cloak and dagger. I have talked publicly about Joshua's weaknesses. I stand by them. I think he's a bit slow and less mobile than Joseph Parker. I think his chin on paper is not as good. He has been dropped a few times. Parker has never been dropped in his life. That's not trash talk. That's just a fact. That's David Higgins' statement. So, yeah, I mean, Higgins is saying something that was true. Of course, Joshua has been dropped. You know, we've seen it against Vladimir Klitschko. We've seen YouTube footage of Dillian Whyte dropping him and that as well in the amateurs and whatever. So why did he do it? To get the fight, I suppose, to try and get a little bit of hype. But of course, once the deal was done, he went as quiet as a mouse on it all. There's no disputing that. But as for Eddie Hearn saying all this, Eddie Hearn is just trying to create a bit more publicity, try and get a few more pay-per-view fights. That's all he's trying to do. And that's pretty obvious. And what Eddie Hearn is kind of doing is a little bit childish. I have to be perfectly honest, because this fight doesn't need building. This fight is already built. What's the difference if Higgins and Parker say to Joshua, I'm going to knock you out? What Eddie Hearn wants to happen is what? He wants Joshua to get emotionally invested in this by hearing this. He wants him to trash talk Higgins and Joshua back. Why? To make him emotionally invested. Last time he got emotionally invested, he nearly got stopped by Dillian Whyte. Do you really want him to do that? Eddie, please. You know I'm a Matchroom fanboy and all this kind of thing, but please, be quiet. Okay? I know Eddie Hearn, he loves a bit of a tear up at a press conference. Nothing violent, but verbal exchanges, because it all looks good for camera. It all looks good for sales, pay-per-views, and it gets a few more bums on seats or eyes on the TV, all that kind of thing. And it kind of gets him in the headlines, I suppose. But Joshua is already in the headlines. Parker is already in the headlines. This fight is already in the headlines. This arena is already sold out, right? The pay-per-view buys are going to be ridiculous. So why do it? Why would you want him to get under Joshua's skin? Eddie Hearn also said that, you know, something that he's never really been saying to other fighters before, but he said it to Joseph Parker. If you beat Anthony Joshua, you become the star. You become the man. It's almost like he wants Parker to go in there and put it on Joshua. I mean, do you want Joshua to lose? Is that what you want to do? Because that's what it's coming across like. Now, I'm not saying he does. Of course he doesn't. But I'm just saying that it sounds like it. And the whole press conference thing. Hey, listen, I love a good bantering press conference. I love the trash talk. I love all that kind of stuff. But it's not Joshua's way. It's not Parker's way. David Higgins comes across as a little rat at times. But that's all done. Why do you need this to happen? Why do you really want this to happen? Maybe Eddie Hearn is looking for an excuse to argue with David Higgins. If you're really looking for it, go do it yourself. I mean, why are you I mean, he tried to do it in the first press conference. Why are you trying to do it again? What difference does it make? Why do you want this to happen? Why? Why do you want Joshua to snap at him? Why do you want to see Joshua take his eye off the ball, if you like, come out of being focused? Why would you want that? I don't get it. Anyway, you all drop your thoughts below. But as I said, for me, I don't see any point to Higgins doing it. And just because Eddie Hearn wants to see a reaction from Joshua, that just seems to be the way. I mean, does he want Joshua to lose? I don't think so, but he's giving the impression that maybe he does. I don't know. He wants to see a war. He wants to see the best fight ever. But your fighter could lose if this happens. Then what? Could we say it's your fault because you allowed Joshua, because you invoked Joshua to get emotionally invested? As I said, we've seen what happened last time Joshua was emotionally invested against Dillian White. He nearly got stopped. Don't do it, Eddie. Please, just stop it now, all right? Please. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.